These are the most common four mistakes I'll see that will cause people to go back to work. And I'll tell you how I see them. So if you don't know already, my name is Ari Taubleib. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Root. Now, part of what I'll do is what's called revisional planning. This is pro bono work where I'm helping people that retired early too early. And so I'm going to tell you this quick story and I'm going to go through these mistakes. So the first one, before we get to this, which you're going to see in just a second, is this chart right here. Now, I'm very careful when I show charts because oftentimes it's really easy to get lost of, hey, I know you financial people like this stuff, but this stuff is just cut and dry to me. Oh my gosh, could you make this entertaining? I try. So I'm going to explain to you the story behind this graph, not just say, look at this. So someone reached out to me and they said, I retired early at 73. Okay, 73 years old. I said, look, I don't want to be mean here, but like some people retire early at 50. So 73 just like ain't that early, you know? And they said, no, I'm retiring early again. And I had to go back to work. And I said, what happened? They said, well, I thought I did everything right, but I had all my money in the S&P 500. I'm like, what happened? And she said, I got really unlucky. And this is what happened to her. So she retired in 2000. All of her money was in the S&P 500 because she's like, that's all I know. I don't want to screw up. I didn't have international, no real estate, no nothing. I just did the S&P 500. And what happened is the S&P 500 is the yellow down here. It was the fourth worst performer. So not only did it lose money over this 9-year period, this is the same 9-year period where this person retired early and did not have Social Security. They did have healthcare costs. They did travel. They did have a home remodel. They did have kids in college. So they had a lot of expenses early on when there was no more income coming in, a lot more going out while markets were going down. So basically it was like a domino effect of getting unlucky. And so they had to go back to work. And you don't want to be this person. Now, some of you might get really lucky. If this person, and I'll tell them this, I said, hey, look, if you just got lucky, like the reality is we wouldn't be talking today because the S&P 500 from 2010 to 2020, the yellow here, it was the second best performer. They would have been in an awesome spot. So the point here is number one, I don't want you to just get unlucky and have that cause your retirement to work or not work. That's the first mistake. The second mistake is I'll see people that don't dream. And what I mean by that is this John and Jane sample, real couple, 63 and 61, 28 years old. And this is their plan. So they have about $2 million. They're planning to retire 65 for John. And they were like, look, I think we want to spend $5,000 a month. I said, okay, is that like you dreaming? And they're like, no. 5,000 a month is like us getting by. I said, okay, what would you love? And they threw out a number. They said 10,000 a month. I said, okay, well, you could spend 10,000 a month and this is what your plan would look like. Like you have $2 million and then over time you're withdrawing. And so at 92, you'd have 200,000 left. And they're like, oh my gosh. And then they started immediately. They went, no, I think we can get by on 6,000 a month. And this software, why it's so cool is in real time, you can see what it'll do for you. And they're like, oh, that's much better. Look at this. 1.5 million left over. Okay, let's spend 6,000 a month. And I said, hey guys, you're doing this wrong. The point of retirement planning is to dream big. How much would you love to spend? And are you in a position to do that? So for this person, they get to weigh the trade-offs. Obviously not me, but I want to make sure they don't retire and go 6,000 a month. Like, okay, now we can go out to eat, but like once a month and we can only take one trip a year. And we didn't really think about vacations or healthcare or like, I don't want you to retire and get by. I want you to love your retirement. So for this person, I might go, hey, like you guys told me you were super, super conservative. Just like that is the way that you invest. And they're like, it is because we haven't been educated. And I'll show them something like this of, hey, put $100 into stocks versus cash. Like, look at this, like $100, basically 100 years, you have $2,000 versus $1 million. Like I want you to make sure that we have enough safe money. So I'm not saying we need a most aggressive, but if we even have more of a moderate strategy, really quickly, their plan is going to look a lot better. I mean, it's not night and day, but like it's better if we go out further. And by the way, this is them, I had them on work until 62. If they work till 65 and they have a moderate strategy here, it helps. I mean, look, there's 3 million at the end. Now, maybe they don't want to die with 3 million. So they might be like, hey, Maybe we can go back to 10,000 a month. This, hopefully you can see, this is why this planning stuff is so important. Okay, now we're back to 1.7, but all I did was say, guys, work till 65, be invested in a moderate approach. And look, I just doubled your spending from 5 to 10,000 a month. So this is the second mistake people will do is they'll really quickly go, yeah, I can spend less. I can get by on it. Retirement is not about getting by. How much would you love to spend? Now, some of you are like, no, I just hate my job so much I want to quit. I go, okay, that's different. If you really hate it, but I'd rather you look into what other job maybe you could get that maybe pays less, that you enjoy more, so you can really spend what you want to in retirement. So I just don't want you to cheat your retirement where you don't get to spend what you really want. And that brings me to mistake number 3. Social Security is a big decision. And some people will make this decision and they'll go, I'm going to collect at age 70. You can see if you click at age 70 or as early as possible or full retirement age, you're going to get very different numbers. And this is based on a gazillion different things I'm not going to go over in this video. But if you collect early, that's awesome, right? I mean, that's less pressure on your portfolio to create income. So people are like, I like that. But then what if you were to, God forbid, pass away earlier than expected and your spouse didn't work? Well, they're going to get that smaller benefit for the rest of their life. So it's almost like you need to plan about your plan. What if, this is a common mistake that I'll see of people who turn on Social Security early. Well, what if you turn on Social Security? That increases your income, right? But what if you also need to do Roth conversions? Because in the future, you're going to have these big, what are called required minimum distributions, where you're forced to take out money from your 401k. Well, if you turn on Social Security, that's increasing your income, which means there's less room to do these Roth conversions. So the point here is I need you to get really strategic as to when you collect Social Security and run projections to go, is it as early as possible? Is it for retirement? Is it age 70? What's the current strategy? So that you can get the optimal approach. And then finally, number 4 is you've got to stress test your plan. This is like a no-brainer. And I'm going to show you an example of this right now. So this software, by the way, that I'm using, this is available to you. So if you guys want to go in and use this software, you don't like get me as your advisor. I'm not calling you up saying, yeah, that looks good. It's a one-time cost. Go in there. You can go play around with everything I'm showing you today, and it's super powerful. So I'd encourage you at a minimum to go do that. But this stress testing is saying, hey, what if you're like unlucky and markets drop 40% and Social Security's not there and inflation goes up and you live till you're 200 years old? Okay, well, if you guys knew you were all super unlucky but still wouldn't run out of money, you'd stop worrying, okay? The problem is the people that come to me that want to retire early, they're not doing this. They're like, yeah, what if markets drop 10% and Social Security, it'll be there. And inflation, I'm not worried, it'll never go up. Returns, I'm like the best investor ever. Nope, I'm going to live till exactly 80. I found it. Somehow, healthcare, taxes aren't going to go up. And they'll be like too rosy on their plan. And then like, of course it's going to look good. It's like that's what's going to happen if you're being overly unnecessarily conservative. And so we want to understand, okay, what are these numbers? And I have a separate video on probability of success and how to think about this, because this does not mean that there's a 76% chance you're going to be okay and a 23.3% chance you won't. That's not what that's saying. Monte Carlo and probability of success, there are lots of simulations and things that go in. Basically, it's saying there's a 76% chance that if you don't change your plan in any capacity, you are projected to pass away with the X amount of money. So, for example, this person has a 77% chance if they change nothing at all throughout their retirement and they live like a robot, there will be 1.1 million at the end, which is a median. There's a lot of simulations run in this. So I talk in this other video about what this should look like. But the point here that I wanted to show is here's one other portfolio real quick. 3 different portfolios. The blue, so all these people, I made an assumption that they're going to start with $3.5 million. The blue here is a 60-40 portfolio, 60% equities, 40% fixed income. The green here, this is a 70-30 portfolio. And then this light blue here, this is all cash, all bonds. Well, what you can see here is it's all cash. Is $3.5 million, yeah, it works and it creates income for about 25 years, but then what happens is it runs out of money. Okay, versus this portfolio here has 5.6. This one has 7 at the end. So this is based on a lot of different assumptions and I'm just going to show you them just so you can kind of get a sense here. If you have 3.5 million and you want to take out 200,000 every year, what would it project? But you can play around with this in different ways. And the reason I'm showing you this is I don't want you to go, I have $2 million. I want to spend 150,000 a year. And I just want to be super conservative. This is something that happened to a client of mine. I had a client that came to me going, Ari, I've never been educated on investing in stocks. And so I know you like this stuff, but I'd rather have cash. I said, look, if you just have cash, the first 5-10 years of retirement will be more than fine. But not only will you have lost out on a lot of money over time, you'll be beating yourself up because you would have been in a really good spot. And now, if we look at this person's plan, oops, I had it on 200,000. It's not 200,000, it's 2 million they're starting with. And I analyze it and we scroll down, you can see here, this person, $2 million, that person with cash, yeah, the first 5-10 years are fine, but then they run out of money. So can we build more of a bulletproof, diversified portfolio? So those are the 4 common mistakes that I'll see. If you want, once again, to run the what if scenarios, play around, the link to that is in the description of this video. If you want to work with us and our team at Root so that you don't have a new job in retirement as an advisor, especially regarding tax strategy, which is something that can add a lot of value, this is what we love doing. This is really the difference with us here at Root. It is holistic planning. So that involves everything. We're doing all of the tax harvesting. We're doing the custom portfolio. We're doing the tax planning. We're doing purpose, insurance, estate, withdrawal, healthcare. And then just important disclosures as always. Guys, these were some Monte Carlo's probability. These examples, they might not apply to your situation. It's not necessarily representative of other clients. I have people with 500,000 and people with 10, 20 million. This example shows probability of success using Monte Carlo. Guys, please be smart about this. I love making these videos. This is super fun. So letting me do this, thank you. If you found this was helpful in any way, please like this, share it with a friend. I want to help as many people as possible know when retirement is truly optional. And I'll see you guys next time.